Happy Saturday, guys. Come on in, grab your drinks, your coffee, your water, your tea, whatever you are sipping on, and let's talk. It is Saturday, our day to get into God's word, to find out what's on his heart concerning you and I. Before we get to today's Saturday, I just want to thank everybody for their love, support, encouragement. Congratulations for our baby girl and her accomplishment. We are so proud of her and excited about her journey, her her furthering her education and her sports. She loves basketball. So yeah, I'm just grateful to God for what he's doing in my family. And gosh, Jason and I have two grown kids. It's kind of scary. That's kind of scary, to even think about that. What? We're not gonna have nobody that we gotta pick up, that we gotta feed, that we gotta look after, that we have to call, where are you? We don't have to do that no more. I mean, there still is a level of parenting. We do know that, but I'm excited about this next level of, there are levels to marriage. There are levels to every area of our lives. And so the Bible talks about us going from glory to glory to glory. And I don't think that's just in the things of, here you go. Everything about me has to be connected to God. So then that means every area of my life needs to be going from glory to glory to glory. Not that it's a church thing. Yeah, we get that wrong sometimes. We only connect the promises of God or levels of things like going from glory to glory when it comes to elevation in the church. No, every area of my life. So my marriage as well, my finances, my business, right? My ministry, everything that's connected to me needs to be going from glory to glory to glory. That means there needs to be growth. There needs to be progression. It needs to be advancing. And so I'm excited about Jason and us and myself being able to this next level of us getting to know each other after 24 years now. Our son is going to be 25 years. So after 25 years now of focusing on the kids. Now it's okay, what we doing, babe? What we doing, King? Where we going? Are we just sitting in the house? We not doing nothing? Okay. Did you pick up Jayla? Oh, we don't have to do that no more. So it's going to be different, but I'm excited and looking forward to it. Cool. Let's get right with today's Saturday, the road to healing. The road to healing is a road and a journey that we all must take. Everybody's journey is different. Everybody's process is different, but everybody's issue is different as well. So we're not going to all go through the road to healing or the process of healing the same way. The process and the road to healing can be a lonely road. It can be a lonely journey. It can be a scary journey. It can be a painful one. We all know how that feels to, even in the natural. If we are hurting or pained in the area, in order to be healed, it means sometimes that area has to be positioned to be hurt even worse for complete healing. The road to healing means that we have to do the hard thing that many of us don't like to do, which is communicate. Right? If I need healing, it means that I need help. Let's marry those two. Healing means I need help. Sometimes we know we need healing, but I'll just heal on my own. And now there's some parts of our body that heals on their own. I'm not sure which parts they are, but I know there are some parts where there may not necessarily need a surgery or an extensive procedure to be done, because the way the body is designed is that part will just kind of heal on its own. But you and I, we need help. We ain't that part of the body. We are not that part of the body. We know we need Jesus. If you are a believer, if you are a child of God, we know that we cannot do this on our own. So we need the wisdom and the strength and instruction from Jesus, the Lord, to help us on the road to healing. But even in the natural, if I'm hurting and I don't understand why or where this is coming from, it means that I have to make that phone call to the doctor's office to go see a doctor because I need help. So communication is one area that is the hard thing on the road to healing. The other thing is forgiveness. Sometimes where we have been hurt, where we are paining, where our ailment is at no fault of our own. We were not an active participant in this thing happening to cause this pain. But whether you are an active participant or if you're not, it still requires you and I to do something. The road to healing is our responsibility, not them, Not they, not him, not her. It's our responsibility. They did it, yes. They said it, yes. Some people are not even here to ask you to forgive them. How long will you hold on to the words you will never get? How long will you hold on to the sting of what they said and what they did before you ask for help so that you can be healed? The road to healing is not always easy, but it is possible. We're going to read Luke 8, verses 40 to 48. And where I felt like this is a fitting story, and I'll explain why after. So verse 40, Luke 8, 40 through 48. Verse 40 says, when Jesus returned, the crowd welcomed him, for they had been waiting for him. Just then, a synagogue leader named Jairus came and fell at Jesus' feet. He begged him to come to his house because his only daughter, who was about 12, was dying. As Jesus went with him, the crowds pressed around him, including a woman who had suffered from bleeding for 12 years. She had spent all her money on physicians, but no one was able to heal her. She came up behind Jesus and touched the fringe of his cloak. You have often heard it as touch the hem of his garment. And immediately her bleeding stopped. Who touched me? Jesus asked. But they all denied it. Master, said Peter, the people are crowding and pressing against you. But Jesus declared, someone touched me, for I know that power has gone out from me. Then the woman, seeing that she could not escape notice, came trembling and fell down before him. In the presence of all the people, she explained why she had touched him, number one, and how she had immediately been healed. Verse 48, daughter, Jesus said, your faith has healed you. Go in peace. I thought this was fitting out of all of the different stories of healing in the Bible, because many times the process or the road to healing means that, or we look at it as being embarrassed. I'm going to be embarrassed if I say I'm the one who needs help. I'm the one who touched you. Now we know that when Jesus asked us a question, he knew who touched him. So when he asked a question, it's not about him getting the information. It's more about us and those who are around us to see and to witness. Remember, everything that God allows us to go through is not only about us and not only for us, but it's about those who will witness the strategy, the process of healing, because we'll be able to tell them. One thing that she did, it said that she identified, she told them why she needed to be healed, and then that she was healed. So the witness of, this is what I was going through. There are people in our lives that know what we are going through. For them to be the witness of what we're going through, and then the outcome, the pain, but the healing, the depression, but the joy, the victory. That's not just for us, but that's for others to be able to witness. Why? To know the goodness of Jesus, not just about us. It's bigger than us. So we're going to talk about 5 things very briefly that is required and necessary on the road to healing. Keep in mind, the road to healing is a journey to wholeness. The road to healing is the journey to wholeness. We're not just wanting to be healed. Wholeness is the outcome. As graduation was the outcome for my daughter completing 4 years, wholeness is the outcome of us being healed, which means we have to go through, some is 4 years, some is 40 years, or like this woman, it's 12 years. 12 years of bleeding. Now I have an opportunity. But my opportunity means that I have to do 5 things. The first thing, I have to identify. You have to be able to identify your what in order for us to get to the why. Many times we try to bypass that. If I was to go to the doctors today for my hip, because my hip is hurting, the root may be my toe that was hurting 2-3 months ago, but because I was still able to walk and it wasn't really bothering me that much, I kind of got through it, learned to live with it, and now I'm not thinking about it anymore. But now, 2-3 months later, my hip is hurting. When I go to the doctor, one of the first things the doctor will ask you after they ask you what's going on is, when did this start? If I start at my now, then I'm not going to be able to get to the root, which is my what. What is my what? Well, doctor, about 3 months ago, my toe started hurting out of nowhere. And then, I got past that, and now all of a sudden my hip is hurting. Now the doctor may say, extend your leg or get up on a table, put your leg up. Now, because I'm thinking it's my toe, the doctor goes to the bottom of my foot and notices something that's underneath there that was causing the toe to hurt, which is now causing the hip to hurt. But if I never go to the what, we'll never be able to get to the why. We have to be willing and able to identify, where's the pain? Where does it hurt? In order for us to, in order for you or the people that God sends to help you on this road and on this journey, the ones that have been sent to help you to get to wholeness. Number 2, the road to healing means that we have to be transparent. On the road and journey to healing, there are parts that we would like to hide. There are parts that we would love to stay covered, because if we touch that, if we go there, then it means we have to really dive into every area that's connected to that. And I really don't want to. So I'll just leave that covered and talk about the surface. Here's the problem with that. If I go for my hip and never identify once again with my what, which was my toe, the doctor gives me something for my hip. Now my hip gets better, but because my what was never identified, it was never dealt with, that toe and what is going on in that toe is going to manifest in another area of our lives. And sometimes we make the mistake of thinking that I can deal with this part and leave this part covered. I can deal with this part and I'll deal with that later. But just as we used to sing, the hip bone's connected to the thigh bone's connected to the knee bone, all of that, every part of our lives is connected together. It's connected to each other. And so there's no way that we can get healed and assess one area without us having to go to the other areas that it's affecting. We can't skip that. We can't bypass that. We can try, but what happens is there's going to be a limp in our lives. And no, it may not be a physical where somebody sees you unbalanced, whether it's because of your leg, because of your foot, whatever the case may be that causes there to be a limp. But in our lives, it's like some things are good, some things are bad. Some things are up, some things are down. Some things are flourishing, some things are dying. God designed us to have wholeness. Wholeness means complete. Every part of me is together. Every part of me is intact. Let's not shoot for healing in one area and leave out the other areas that are connected to that area, because perhaps you may get healed in that area, but trust me, it's going to get tapped again. It's going to be affected again, because that part that you got healed in is connected to the other part that you're still hiding. So we have to be transparent. The third thing the road to healing requires is honesty. Honesty. You have to be able to admit that it hurts. There is a way, and it's how do I say this? You can be transparent without being honest. And now that's like, how? The transparent is being honest. Well, here's what I mean. I can say, this is what happened to me, and not be honest about why it happened. Okay? So a lot of times we are transparent about what we're going through, what we need healing, what was done to us. But we are not honest about even that it still hurts. You ever been feeling something, you feel some type of way about something, you're hurt, somebody caused you pain, and you try to act like it didn't, you don't feel nothing, I'm good, I'm straight. And no, really, that area, it does bother you. It does hurt. It did make you mad. We have to be able to admit and locate where we are with our feelings. If not, we don't give others the privilege, especially if it's a relational thing. We don't give others the privilege of making that wrong right. What do I mean? If you did something to hurt me and I'm not being honest about what you did made me feel, and I try to act like I'm good, chances are you're going to repeat doing that thing, which is going to cause me to continue to be in pain, continue to be hurt, continue to be frustrated, disappointed. Why? Because I was never honest about how what you did made me feel. And how often do we do that in life? We don't want to ruffle no feathers. We don't want to make, it's just small. It's fine. And it may be small, but it's really not fine. And don't forget, what's small has the potential to grow when you feed it. Anything that's small becomes great when you focus on it, when you pay attention to it, when you feed it, when you invest in it. There are areas in our lives that we're like, oh, it's just small, but we're really investing in it because we keep dwelling on it. We're living out and acting out in other areas of our lives because of this. So this area of my life is like this because of this small thing. That's, it's just small, but I'm investing in it, my mind, my energy, my memory. And now this is causing me to do things a certain way, to live a certain way, to act a certain way, to respond a certain way. So we have to be honest on this road to healing, to say, it hurts. And this is where it hurts. Not just it hurts. What does that mean? When I took my daughter to the doctor, the doctor said, well, where does it hurt? I know it hurts, but now where? And now she even went further. She said, on this side of my knee. She went to that side, but she started touching other areas that were not causing any pain, but that's connected to the area she was saying. When she started pressing this area, no, this area, no, this area, no, this area, yeah. Oh yeah, I just felt that. Now that wasn't hurting me initially. That's not why I'm here. But I did not know either that was connected to that. So we have to be honest about where it hurts and that it does hurt. Number 4, we have to accept. We have to be willing to accept the role that we play. Sometimes we are an active participant in why we are where we are. Keeping bad relationships, connections, where God has told us to say no, we said yes. So we got involved in something that now didn't turn out the way that we thought. And now it caused us on the back end to be hurt. We have to not only be able to say what they did and what happened and how they acted and responded, but yeah, I did X, Y, and Z. And so this is where I'm at. The other part of acceptance, because there are some things that are done to us that causes us pain, that we are not active participants in it. But we have to be able to accept responsibility for what we need to do to get healed. The road to healing is my responsibility. The road to healing is your responsibility. Once again, yes, they did it. Yes, they said it. We can point and blame them for as long as we can, but they're living their lives. Some of them are no longer around. How long are we going to sit around and blame them before we realize, wait, this process, this road means that I have to travel on it and get help to walk alongside of me, to remind me of where I'm going, to remind me what's on the other end of me enduring this process. Because remember, the mission is wholeness. We're trying to get through for wholeness. And number 5, we must be willing. The road to healing means we must be willing. Willing to do what? Willing to do what it takes. Willing to follow the instructions. When I took my daughter to the doctor for her knee, after we were done and all was said and done, the doctor said, okay, well, here's what you are going to need to do. She gave her instructions to follow to get her knee to feeling better. Now, what she can do is leave the doctor's office and not do what she's responsible for doing, not doing, following the instructions that was given to her and expecting to have the results that she would if she did follow them. Stop expecting results where you are not going through the process, where you are not following the instructions. Remember, the road to healing is a process to wholeness. So we want to get to the other side. We have to be willing to identify our why so that we can get to the what. We have to be willing to be transparent. We have to be willing and honest about our level of pain. We have to accept what we must do, and we have to be willing to commit to the process. That is the only way to be healed. That is the only way to be made whole. We have to be able to say, it was me who touched you, God. I have the need, and here's what I need. I've been bleeding for 12 years. That's embarrassing. Any woman knows 7 days can be embarrassing, especially if you mess up, your clothes. And that happens in the journey, but it can be embarrassing for many different reasons that I won't go into. But if you're a woman, what 3 to 7 days of a cycle, what all it can cause. It can change your attitude. Them hormones start switching, and all of a sudden you nasty and angry. I'm not giving you permission to be, but when our hormones go through changes, it causes us to react in certain ways. And guess what? Even in that, I need to get help. I'm noticing 3 to 7 days out of the month, I'm cranky, I'm angry, I'm nasty. Like, you don't want to be around me. Do I just accept that, or do I say, I need help? Call that doctor. Hey, this is what's going on. I have to admit what's going on. Is there anything that I could take, anything that I can do, anything natural anything that I could stop eating the days or weeks before to help me, so that when that time comes, I'm a little at ease and a little more pleasant to deal with. We could give excuses about every area of our lives. But truthfully, anywhere that we want to be, anywhere that God said that we will be, it requires us to be responsible. Many of us spend our entire lives blaming the man, a woman, my mother, my father, my ex, my spouse, my children, my family members, my boss. There's always a reason why and the reason we can give as to why we can't do what we really can do. Because the Bible tells me I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I'm not saying that there's not going to be blocks and setbacks. I'm not saying that there are not things set up to keep you back. But when you are a child of God, I see that and I know that and I hear that. But let me consult my Father about a way to get around that. Let me consult my Father about his plan. Let me consult my Father for help. The road to healing requires you to get help. You cannot do it alone. But even with the help, it still requires that you are responsible for what needs to be done, so that you reach and accomplish the fulfillment and ending of healing, which is wholeness. I pray this encourages you and bless you. If you are on a journey and on a road of healing, get the help that you need. Be willing to stick to the instructions and the process that the Lord puts you through and takes you to and through, so that you can be whole, so that you can be made whole. Just like the woman with the issue of blood, 12 years. But when she identified that it was her who touched him, when she was transparent, when she was honest about why she was touching him, right? When she was open and said, yeah, this is what I need. This is who I am. This is what I need. It was only then that she was able to say, I'm healed. The Bible says immediately. Immediately. Everybody's process and length is different, but you too can be healed if you are willing to go through the process. Ask for the help on the road to healing. Until next Saturday, continue to live, love, laugh, and breathe. Jesus loves you, and I do too.